Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me as always is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries. In a short while from now, we will connect with our experts to get all your stock-related queries answered by them. But before that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So Cheryl, a range-bound trading action, but nevertheless, the broader markets are supportive today.
Absolutely. A very good morning to you, Shrishti. And you've forgotten about Nifty Bank. That's also actually outperforming the benchmark indices. It's a rare sight to see given what happened yesterday and the performance that we saw from the banking space as a whole. But for today, as Shrishti was saying, range-bound trading session coming in from the benchmark indices. In fact, it's key to note it's the third day of a consecutive session that we're seeing range-bound trading session when it comes to the benchmark indices. Today as well, range-bound trading session. But the broader markets are surprising on the upside today. You have 7/10% uptick coming in from the small cap index. Talking about the list of gainers and the losers, then it's the two-wheeler pack that are like zooming away in trade today, having a good ride on the Nifty, that is. 3.6% uptick coming in for Hero MotoCorp, followed by Bajaj Auto. You have Eicher Motors. All of them seeing good strength in today's trading session. They are among the top three gainers on the Nifty as we speak, while on the flip side, Cipla is the one that is actually under pressure in today's trading session, and the reason being that the details for that Putampur plant warning letter is out and it's not looking that good for Cipla, and that's the reason why the stock is down about 4.6%, followed by Hindalco, Ultratech, Divi's Laboratories as well as Apollo Hospitals are the other set of losers. Let's break it down and let's see what exactly is happening in the sectoral front. It is actually fair to say that the pharma index is among the top sectoral losers at this point in time. You have IT index also that's taking a bit easy, metal also taking a bit easy, but realty is back to its winning ways, 1% uptick coming in for realty sector. You also have the auto sector holding on to good strength as mentioned earlier, as well as broader markets are showing good strength. But let's talk about the QSR space. Today you have Jubilant FoodWorks particularly in focus because you have a brokerage note that's coming on the counter where they're maintaining a sell stance, and the commentary is not looking that bullish that it's coming in for Jubilant Food. However, the stock is trading higher by about 1.8%. But Shrishti, let's take a deeper dive into the entire QSR space.
Well, yes, absolutely, because the QSR space has relinquished the gains it made in the month of September because festive trends have showed limited growth for many companies. What are the factors that are contributing to the slowdown in the QSR industry? Let's get in more details from Vinny Motiwala. Vinny, take it away.
Absolutely. Seems like, no one was munching on those burgers and pizzas this time, and especially since September, that fall has come in most of the stock prices as well. Now, what led to this sluggishness when you look at it in terms of the Q2 numbers? First, let's highlight in that also. The commentary and what we've seen coming in is that the same-store sales growth for most of the QSRs have seen a decline when you compare it quarter-on-quarter basis, year-on-year basis as well. Same-store sales growth had seen a decline coming in, indicating that obviously that weak demand is something that is persistent. Now, obviously, pizza demand, even in the last couple of quarters, we've seen pizza was not doing that well versus the burger companies. So whether Jubilant FoodWorks, Devyani International's Pizza Hut business, or even Sapphire Foods Pizza Hut business, that had not been doing well. But now what we're seeing that other cuisines in the QSR space, that is also not doing quite well, and that is also seeing a bit of a pressure and witnessing some weakness in terms of demand trends as well. Specifically, obviously, festive season, that didn't bring any cheer as well. Channel checks were suggesting that festive season was quite dull as well. Navratri didn't do anything in terms of a cheer. Pre-Diwali sales also saw a bit of an uptick, but nothing great in terms of the versus the last festive season as well. So yes, Westlife Development still less impacted compared to other peers. When you look at it in terms of the SSSG growth as well for Restaurant Brand Asia or Westlife in Q2 was on the positive side. But whether you look at Sapphire Food, Pizza Hut business, Jubilant Foods, pizza business, as well as Devyani International's pizza business, that had seen a decline in the SSSG growth. World Cup also was something that didn't support in terms of the demand trend as well, and that is what that we're seeing, that there's a weakness overall coming in terms of demand trends. There's not much trend in terms of consumers actually going and eating much in terms of the QSR items. That is what is causing a bit of a pressure here as well.
Vinny, for talking about the QSR space and exactly how it's been sluggish for them going ahead when it comes to their gains. But let's bring on board our experts for today. We have Hemen Kaparia as well as Shahina Mukaddam joining us on the show. A very good morning to you, Shahina, as well as Hemen. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. Let's talk about the most exciting space, at least for me, given the fact that I love junk food. And QSR space in particular, no doubt the gains don't seem to be actually lasting when it comes to the stock price performance, Shahina. But fundamentally, do you think a long way to go coming in for the QSR space, or do you think there is a lot of competition coming in from the unlisted arena for this entire space, and that could actually cause a hurdle for their growth trajectory?
Well, as Vicky explained, I agree that the demand has actually substantially slowed down after a very good first, I would say, 3 quarters of FY23. From the fourth quarter, we've started seeing the growth coming down, and as we saw in this first half, the growth, I think, for most of these companies in the QSR space, the larger ones, has been in the range of 5 to 7%. So it's pretty low. The competition has increased definitely, as is actually some of the discounts which are affecting the top line. But the bigger issue is also, you see, margins are impacted, and even currently you see the price of onions, tomatoes, major raw materials for some of these companies, the prices are pretty high. So I think the impact on margins is likely to continue on into the second half of the year, FY24. While we may see some improvement in demand, I think the overall numbers are likely to be muted. So despite the stocks having corrected, if you see in the first half of current year, I think the consolidation phase in these stocks will continue on for at least another 2 quarters before we start seeing another up move. Lastly, I think valuations are pretty expensive. If you look at it on a simple P basis, they're all quoting around at 100 plus times P, which I think is expensive given the growth. So I would say that I wouldn't recommend any of them to be bought at current levels. Let us wait for a dip and see, review it maybe after a quarter or so.
Okay, so not a buyer at these levels. The valuations seem to be expensive as of now on the fundamental take. But Himain, coming to you, talking about the stock-specific action that we have seen in the past couple of months, they were quite sluggish from the likes of Devyani International, Jubilant Food, as well as Westlife Development. So any stock, where do you believe that the momentum could catch up on the either side? And any take on any stock that you like at this point in time from the QSR space?
A very good morning to you, Shishti. Very good morning to you, Cheryl. Thank you for having me on the show. Shishti, I think quite a few. There's Sapphire, there's Devyani, there's Westlife, there's Restaurant Brand Asia. One thing which I would say agrees with what you're saying, Jubilant Food is something where you look for some momentum coming in. Okay, we've been moving sideways, not doing much, but the range is between 490 and 550 for the last 2 months or so, Shishti. And now we are on the verge of breaking out from there. The mechanical indicators seem to support this move, not only the weekly, the monthly chart. So from the 4-5 stocks that I mentioned or when he spoke about, I think there's only one stock which stands out as of now, Jubilant Food. It's not yet broken out. I think that level is at 550, but the setup is turning positive, and I believe this is the one stock which could outperform. Shishti.
That's the take coming in from both of our experts when it comes to the QSR space. Yes, Shahina did say at least now is not the time to enter these counters in particular. But on that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. When we come back, we'll start taking your query, viewers, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now show, where we get your answers for all of your stock-related queries. Remember, viewers, you can connect to us live on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on your screen. Do remember to mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, the name of that stock, as well as to mention the buy price and the quantity and the time horizon. In that way, our experts will be able to help you better. And talking about our experts, today we have Himain Kapadia on the technical front and Shahina Muqaddam on the fundamentals to help guide you better with all of your stock-related queries. And with the stock-related queries, let me kickstart this one. It's coming from Satyan. He's writing to us from Palakkad, and he has 85 shares of Godrej Agrovet at an average price of around 540 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he can hold on to this one for the next 2 years and what are the prospects. What's your take on this one, Shahina? Godrej Agrovet, do you think that it's a good one in the agri space to hold on to?
Yeah, I think the investor can continue to hold on to Agrovet. Last year was not such a, at least the first half and last couple of quarters was not that good. But I think things should start looking better with stabilization of raw material and availability of raw material.
Okay, moving on then, and the next query that I have is also, let me take it through to you, Shahina, because this one is a longish query. This one is a query for a long term. Bhardwaj has 430 shares of Samvardhana Motherson at an average price of 84 rupees. Can he buy more at current market price? His view is to stay invested for the next 2 to 3 years.
I would suggest that you avoid adding on to Motherson at current levels. He should wait. I believe there are other stocks available in the sector which look more attractive. So I don't recommend a add as of current levels.
All right, this one is coming in from Soumya, writing to us from Chennai, and wants to know about TV18 broadcast. 48 is a buy price. Wants to know what sort of a target should she look at for this one, Himen, and also a holding period for the stock.
Cheryl, I would prefer network 18, but having said that, the target would be, we are at currently 43 and a half. The first target would be 51 and the second target would be 58. Time period would be 12 months or so, Cheryl.
What's your view on Anant Raj? Thomas from Kerala has 400 shares of this counter at a price of 230 rupees. Can he hold this counter or exit at this point in time? He could stay invested for the next 3 months.
I believe taking some profits home shouldn't be a bad idea. Thing is, the stock has gone on a one-way street from 45 to 263 over the last 1.5 years or so. It's been a one-way street. Even if we were to anticipate a correction of a greater degree, I think 5 or 6 months would go just to retrace the recent rise, and the quantum has been pretty significant. Currently on the daily chart, it's a bit overbought. The long-term picture still seems pretty sanguine, nothing to worry about. Short-term, it does look a bit heavy. So I would say just little bit of profit booking just to lower the average. Otherwise, the setup still doesn't warrant too much of worry at this point in time.
All right, the next query is coming in from Ajay, and he wants to know about CG Power, if it's fundamentally a strong company to invest in. Shahina, let's talk about CG Power. Yesterday, this particular counter was locked in the upper circuit following the news that they have actually filed an application with the ministry in order to go ahead with or set up a semiconductor assembly unit. Post that news, not only CG Power but all of the Murugappa group companies actually started seeing a sharp up move. Fundamentally, keeping this news in mind as well, do you think it makes sense to invest in CG Power? Now is the right time, or should Ajay wait for it?
Well, he can pick up CG Power even at current levels. I'm pretty positive on the company despite the stock having rallied such a lot. The balance sheet is strong and they have got good plans. The balance sheet can fund their expansions. So it's a buy. I mean, of course, preferably don't buy it, when the stock rallies so much on the same day or the same week. But yeah, you can add it.
Okay, Himen, the next query is from Saurabh from Mumbai. He wants a take on Ambika Cotton. Can he go ahead and buy this one for a swing trade?
Okay, I think he can. Firstly, we'll have to decide the stop loss for the share. We're at 1653. For a swing trade, I would need a slightly bigger stop loss. If I were to give a 1 week trade, the stop loss would be 1620. For a swing trade, I would need to keep a stop loss at around 1590. A close about 1680 should take it to 1740. Well, one answer to a swing trade, yes, I think it looks even better if I was looking at it from a 6 to 8 month point of view.
This one is from Sally Devi, writing to us from Kerala, and she's bought NIIT at a price of around 350 rupees per share. She wants to know what's the future of this particular counter, Himen?
Consolidation has been going on for last 1.5 months or so. No trending bias at the moment, but it seems more like a correction in an uptrend. So I'll just give a few levels. Very strong support comes in at 116, 106. Resistance comes in at 122, 128, and 136. Hold as of now till we don't get a weekly closing above 132. It's going nowhere.
Okay, moving on then. And the next query, Shahina, is from Nielsen from Navi Mumbai. He wants an outlook on Raymond because this particular counter has been in the news and seeing a fall as well. But Nielsen is holding 100 shares at a price of 1607 rupees. Do you believe this is the time where he should exit this particular counter, or the stock can rally going ahead as well once it's out of the news flow?
Well, I would suggest to continue to hold at current levels. The news flow, as we all know, is pretty dampening. But at the same time, I think the prospects for the company for fundamental basis looks good even now. So I think one can continue to hold.
All right, this has come from Dilesh Joshi. He's writing to us from Mumbai. Shahina is a long-term investor. He has Tata Coffee, 200 shares at a price of around 150 rupees per share. What should he do with this counter? Hold on to this one for the longer term?
Yeah, I think Tata Coffee looks good at current levels, so he should continue to holding. Numbers also are decent.
Reddy has shares of L&T Finance, holding 200 shares at a price of 110 rupees is his average. Should he hold this for a long term, or maybe it's a good time to book out profits?
No, the way I see it, it's a clear hold. There is a technical hurdle at 155.60. 130 strong support hold. I think this should slowly and steadily gravitate towards 165, 170. It's a hold.
All right, the next query that I have is coming in for you, Heyman. This one is from Karthik, and his query is on two stocks. The first one, he wants a short-term target to exit Greaves Cotton, holding about 800 shares at a price of 135. The other one is EID Parry, 300 shares at a price of around 485 rupees per share. He's been holding on to these counters for the last 6 months, and he's looking to exit them.
Yes, Greaves has underperformed, Shell, no doubt on that. So a short-term target would be 138, though he hasn't specified. A slightly more than short-term target would be 145, but short-term target is 138. And the second stock is EIT Parry. That looks quite interesting, actually. I believe it should move up. There's been a huge volume spike yesterday. I assume it would be a block deal. I think target would be somewhere around 550 and 572. Not exactly short term, but between short and mid.
Okay, so that's the take coming in on EID Parry. All the sugar count is buzzing, but for this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now, a show where we get you answers for all your stock related queries. And today onto the show we have Shahina Mukaddam as well as Himain Kapadia to guide you better. And the next query that I have is for you, Himain. This one is from S. Balaji. He wants a medium term outlook on SBI Life as well as Suven Life Sciences, and also wants to know what is the ideal price to buy both of these counters.
We'll start with SBI Life, Shrishti. We are at all-time highs. I think most of the insurance companies are just about waking up. Favorite has been HDFC Life, but SBI Life somehow leads the pack under that all-time high. So if you want to buy, I would suggest don't buy it at one go. Do it in not an SIP, but at least split your purchases in installment sort of a thing.
Himain, sorry, I beg your pardon. That's not SBI Life. That is SBI. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. SBI is a different, frankly speaking, cup of tea, Shrishti. The setup isn't inspiring too much of confidence simply because we have been corrective over the last, frankly, there's a small bias which is negative, but it's in a large range between 546, 620. So if he wants to buy, I think around closer to 550 would make sense, but I keep a stop loss at 535 simply because it doesn't seem to be doing anything much. And at least looking at the picture today, doesn't seem as if there's going to be too much of a change happening in the near future. And the second stock you mentioned, Srishti, was Suven Life, right?
Life Sciences.
Yeah, Suven Life Sciences. So this looks better. We are in a short-term consolidation, medium and long-term uptrend. Setup is positive. Support comes in at 80 and 69. Resistance comes in at 89.98. One can buy at current levels. Add more at around 76. I think one can look for a medium-term target of 94 and maybe after that 108.
All right, this next one is coming from Lakshmi from Bangalore, and Shahina, she wants to know whether she can go ahead and look to apply for Tata Tech as well as Irida IPO. Is the last day of IPO for Irida, but what's your take coming in for Tata Tech?
Yeah, definitely Tata Tech looks like an interesting IPO. While valuations are, I mean, it's in line with the rest of its peer group. So, and a very strong promoter. So, that is definitely an IPO that lady can apply for.
Okay, Shaina, the next query is specifically for you from SK Saran. This one is on Cipla. He wants to know the right price for a fresh entry. The stock is seeing a sharp knock today on the back of the details out of the warning letter of the Pritampur facility. They really don't look great because of the data integrity issue. But at this point in time, will you be a buyer or wait for some more correction?
Well, the news for today was pretty negative. So definitely she can wait and then pick it up at slightly lower levels. I would say somewhere close to maybe 1,100 would be a decent level to enter and then hold for the medium to longer term.
All right, this next one is coming in this one is coming from Anant Nayak, writing to us from Bangalore. He has 16 shares of Arvind Smart Spaces Heyman at a price of around 353 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should add some more to his portfolio at current levels.
Well, Cheryl, Arvind Smart Spaces has been technically positive for the last 3.5 years and counting. So I think yes, he can add more. Currently, it's moved up from 310 to 380 in a matter of 4.5 weeks. So I would prefer if he buys it around the 360, 350, between 350 and 360. But yes, coming back to the main question, he can add. We remain in an uptrend on all time frames.
Okay, Shahina, what's your take on sale? This one is from Girish Iyer. He has bought 10,000 shares at a price of 103 rupees. Already at a huge loss in this one. Should he wait for some more time, sell at this point, or maybe substitute with another stock?
I think it's better to continue to holding and wait for a bounce to exit because steel prices after declining for the last 6 to 9 months has now started stabilizing. So he can hold and then at a later stage he can switch to maybe a JSW steel.
All right, this one is coming from Deepak Dave. He is a long-term investor. He has Castrol India in his portfolio, Shahina, and he has it from the levels of around 160 rupees per share. He wants to know what should his strategy be when it comes to Castrol India. Given the fact he's a long-term investor, do you think it makes sense to?
He can actually average it even at current levels. The numbers in the last quarter were pretty disappointing, but I think prices are stabilizing. Raw material prices are stabilizing for them, crude oil. So definitely he can continue to hold existing and add at maybe slightly dips. That would be a better strategy.
Okay, Heyman, the next query is from Philip. He wants an advice on two counters. Firstly, he's looking for a short-term target on Hero MotoCorp. And the next stock is Crompton Greaves holding 5 shares at a price of 302. Can he go ahead and accumulate more of this one?
Okay, Hero Moto, slightly near shorter term target would be around 3629, and beyond that 3800, but that wouldn't be short term. So 3629 is a short term target. Crompton Greaves at 300, and yes, I think he can add more. The stock seems to be in a correction for the last 3 months, but the situation is slowly but steadily changing. Yes, I think he can add more.
Okay, this one is coming in from Rajesh, writing to us from Punjab. This one is specifically for you, Shahina. So he has a couple of stocks in his portfolio. He has L&T Finance, Lupin, Rate Gain, as well as Bandhan Bank in his portfolio. Now, what he's saying is that he wants to exit Bandhan Bank. After exiting Bandhan Bank, which stock do you think should he add to his portfolio, or should he go ahead and, in a staggered manner, add the existing stocks only in his portfolio?
Of all the 4 stocks, I think RateGain is my preferred bet. And I think he can exit Bandhan Bank, he can exit L&T Finance, and then maybe look to add some defense stock. I think while they are in a consolidation phase, the prospects still look good. So he can look to add something like a HAL. He basically create a long-term portfolio. He can add something in pharmaceuticals, Arbindo being my top favorite. Some of the banks he can add. So I think this is a time you can create a portfolio of stronger stocks.
Right, because a couple of stocks, then talking about Bandhan Bank, a couple of them actually have purchased Bandhan Bank. You have one viewer who's purchased it at an average price of 317. The other one has bought it at around 232 rupees per share. What's your advice to both of them? Exit?
Yeah, I would say that they should exit it. The near term also looks a bit difficult for these stocks to give any decent return. So I would exit.
Okay, Shahina, the next query is from Jay Krishnan from Kerala, and he wants two suggestions on realty sector for a medium term and the entry level of the same. So, any top two recommendations from the realty space?
Based on valuations, of course, most of them are looking good currently. The sector is, doing well. But based on valuations, I would prefer Prestige Estates as being the top pick. Even Godrej, I think they have done very strong second quarter, and it's an expensive stock, but it looks good to add to your portfolio at any dips.
All right, this one is coming in from Badri. He's writing to us from Bangalore. This one's for you, Hemin. Pennar Industries. He's bought this particular counter at a price of around 129 rupees per share. What's the outlook that you have for this stock for the next 3 to 6 months?
Well, share remains positive. We are at all-time highs, and we have been an uptrend for 2.5 years or so. So clear blue skies. Just yesterday we posted a fresh all-time high. So nothing to worry. We had a consolidation for around 3.5 months. We've broken out of that consolidation and continued the uptrend. So I believe further upside seems like a possibility. Support comes in at 120, 108, and 94.
Hemen, given the fact that the outlook looks positive, do you think that he can add some more in his portfolio right now of Pennar Industries?
Yeah, excuse me, but only on declines.
Okay, only on declines then. Okay, Shrishti?
Okay, moving on then to the next query, and this one is coming from Dinesh. And Shahina, Dinesh is holding stocks of Vodafone Idea, 300 shares from a price of 14 rupees 82 paise. The stock has been showing good moves since the start of this particular month, but still at a loss. Good time to hold on to this particular counter, or should he exit?
He should hold on. I think the stock has started its up move, and of course, while fundamentally it looks difficult because the balance sheet is pretty stretched, but I think even from here, technically it looks good, so you should continue to hold.
All right. Let's move on then. And this one is coming from Giridhar from Bangalore. And Shahina, he has two queries for you. One, he wants to know how do you evaluate Adani stocks at this stage to make an entry? Does it sound prudent, especially Adani Ports? And also, he wants to know about Sri Rama Newsprint. He's been holding on to it for over 20 years now. He wants to know, should he get rid of the stock now?
Well, I am not updated on Sri Rama Newsprint, but Adani stocks, I think you should stick to your core principles that, for the longer term, look at valuations, look at P multiple, look at EV by EBITDA. I think those are important. Also look at the market share, what the stocks are gaining. That is why I think Adani Ports has done relatively well because one is the balance sheet is strong. So, I mean, that is another factor you look at. Look at the debt. And second is that, they have built a decent market share and are doing pretty well. Balance sheet is strong. But at the same time, I think there are some shorter term because of the global geopolitical issues. There are some headwinds that are likely to keep the stock under pressure. But you can look at it at every dips and hold it for the longer term.
Okay, the next query, Shahina, let me take it from you. This one is from Sheena, and she wants to invest in defense as well as shipbuilding stocks. She already has stocks like HAL, BEL, and Muscat Dock in her portfolio. But at this point, can she add BHEL, Cochin Shipyard, or Garden Reach Shipbuilders, any of the stock you like?
I like the portfolio of the stocks that she's holding, and yeah, she can add shipbuilding. I think India is gaining, its limelight in shipbuilding and likely to do pretty well going forward in terms of getting orders. So she can add Cochin shipyard. It is a decent stock to hold. Balance sheet is also pretty good.
All right, moving on then, let's talk about CG Power. We've already discussed a short while ago. So viewers who are seeking advice on CG Power, you all can actually catch this episode. It will be up on the social media platform right after the show ends. So you can catch the response that Shahina gave for CG Power. But let me talk about the other cable stocks. Sudha has written to us, and I'll take this to you, Hemen. RR Kabel, Polycab, and Finolex Cables. Which of these companies should Sudha look to invest right now with a time horizon for approximately 2 years?
RR Kabel looks great, but frankly speaking, it's just 2.5 months of listed history, Cheryl. So, frankly speaking, that is a drawback for me because I need more data. But whatever data I have seems to suggest very clear positivity on the charts. Polycab is something I'd be more comfortable with. We are in an uptrend soon after listing, and we continue to do phenomenally well. Currently, we are sitting on top of a scintillating rise from 2100 to 5300. So I'd say wait for sanity to prevail. Let laws of gravity do their thing. I would be more comfortable buying it at 4800 and 4500 from the stocks that you mentioned, Polycab share.
Okay, wait for the laws of gravity to work in Polycab. Really like that line, Humane. But moving on to the next query, Shahina, this one is from Pradeep. He's a senior citizen and wants an advice on Carousel. He has bought 30 shares at a price of 635 rupees. He has a long-term vision on this one. So any advice what to do next?
I don't track this stock, sorry.
Okay. Give it a skip then, and Cheryl.
All right, the next one is coming in from Jitendra. He's writing to us from Pune. He's a long-term investor. He wants your view on NMDC, Shahina in particular. He's holding about 370 shares for over about 3 years now. Average buy price is 56 rupees per share. Now he wants to know, should he look to exit this particular counter on divestment news, and what's the long-term outlook for this particular counter? I believe divestment news would be in particular talking about what is going to happen to NMDC Steel, but what's your take coming in for NMDC in particular for the longer term?
NMDC looks good at current levels. I think divestment is a positive, and the demand will be good for the stock, so one should continue to hold, and you can add.
Okay, that's the take. But moving on to the next one, Himen, this one is from Gauri Gupta. She needs an advice on ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, or HDFC Bank, or Paytm. Out of these four, any of the stock you like for a fresh buy at this point in time?
Okay. ICICI Bank, Kotak Bank, HDFC Bank seem more this thing. Paytm, not too much of data. Looks good on the charts though. ICICI Bank has stagnated. The setup seems to have taken a hit in the sense it's walked into an intermediate correction. Kotak and HDFC both, I think, erstwhile market leaders for 20 years and counting. And now for the last couple of years, they've taken a backseat. Not much to lose. Downside appears limited in both HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank. If I were to pick, I'd say buy a little bit of both. Very little downside, oversold, down for 15, 16 weeks, base formation in place. Nothing much to lose from here.
All right, one more coming your way, Hemen. This one is coming from all the way from Doha, Qatar. This one is coming in from Manoj Kumar. He has 45,000 shares of Orient Green Power. He purchased this counter at a price of around 14.818 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should book profits or wait on with this particular counter.
Okay, that stock is on rocket fire, I believe. It's moved in circuits from 12 to 24. That sort of distorts the technical picture a bit. But having said that, the stock looks good on the charts. I mean, notwithstanding this crazy move it has had over the last 5 weeks, but the setup is positive. All-time high is at 26. Looks very promising. So I would suggest to hold. But if you've got such a big quantity, logic always says take some money home. We are in a bull market. Everything is hunky dory. State elections, national elections. Book some profit just for safety's sake.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries, so stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's continue taking your queries then. And this one is coming from Mayank. He's writing to us from Raipur. This one is for you, Shahina. He's saying he shifted from HDFC Bank shares and in fact bought IDFC First Bank, about 2,000 shares at a price of 88 rupees per share, and this for a long term. That's his long term is actually long term, 5 to 10 years is the horizon. He's saying IDFC First Bank is now his top bet in the portfolio. He wants to know your views now. Is replacing HDFC Bank with IDFC First better to make good returns of approximately 20% CAGR in the future?
I think both of them for the shorter term are looking like in a consolidation phase. You could see slightly moves up or down, but for the medium to longer term, I think both look equally good. I would believe that IDFC First Bank has the potential to give him a decent return of 15 to 20% over the next 2 years.
Okay, that's the take coming in on IDFC First Bank. But with this, viewers, let's kickstart taking all your queries in the rapid fire session. And the first query is for you, Shahina. This one is on KPIT Tech. Shri from Kochi holding shares at a price of 1261 rupees. The stock has been under pressure. Should he book out his profits or continue to hold on?
I think we can hold for now.
Okay, Thomas V. George wants to know, Shahina, out of the listed spirit space, that is USL, UBL, as well as Radico and Sula, which is the one stock that he should keep in his portfolio?
Radico Khaitan would be good. United Spirits is also good.
Himain Usha wants an advice on IEX. She is holding 500 shares at a price of 140 rupees. Wants an outlook for the next 3 months.
151, 170, support at 136, currently overbought, small correction coming, setup improving from again.
Okay, Raghavendra from Kurnool wants to know about Gland Pharma, 20 shares, Shahina at a price of 1,750 rupees per share. Wants to know what sort of an outlook are you envisaging for Gland Pharma?
Things are looking better compared to the last year. So
Okay, Shahina, what's your advice on CESE? Tanmay holding 200 shares at a price of 79 rupees. Any targets on this one?
I would say the stock has a target of about 107, 110. So one can continue.
Alright, this one is coming from Chandrasekharan. Infibeam is the counter. Himain, 5,000 shares at a price of 24.5 rupees per share. He's saying he can stay put with this one for the next 6 months. Wants to know what sort of strategy should he use.
I'm sorry, I don't track this one.
Okay, Shahina, what's your advice on Munjal Auto? Sunita Rai holding shares at a price of 58 rupees. Good time to book out profits or continue to hold on for a long term?
Hold for the longer term.
Okay, this one is coming from Prithvi Raj Pawar. He has Reliance Industries 29 shares at a price of around 2,379 rupees per share. Looks like it. He's a short-term investor. So, Himain, what should he do? Stay put with this one or book out profits?
Hold, close about 24, should see 20%. Hold.
Okay, Shahina, any advice on Bajaj Hindustan Sugar? Santosh from Hyderabad holding 500 shares at a price of 20 rupees. His time horizon is next 1 year.
I would prefer Balrampur Chini over Bajaj.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the query segment. Thank you so much, Himain as well as Shahina, for joining us in the show and resolving viewer queries as well as giving us take on the QSR space. And there is a lot of commentary coming in from the finance minister, as we can see, talking about the fact that RBI is cautious of downside risk for NBFCs. More we will cover on the other side at Markets at Noon. For now, it's goodbye from Shrishti, myself and the team that put the show together.